Nicola Badalana from pixiehill.com with an indoor fairy garden project created for Gypsy Soul Laser Cuts. I'm using a sturdy chipboard base from Gypsy Soul as my foundation. I simply glue all the edges, assemble, then tidy up any excess glue. I sketch my garden layout onto the top of the base. Using a cobblestone template, I apply some thick gel medium to the areas I want a garden path. By the way, if you want your stencil or texture sheet to last a long while, sealing it with marine varnish is a great way to protect it. After lifting the stencil, while the gel is still wet, I clean up any edges. With a wet paintbrush, I fix any smudged areas. Once dried, I add my first coat of paint. Throughout this process, I'll add more layers and washes to my cobblestone. This will help create depth of color and add some realism. Painting the garden areas black will help to camouflage missed spots when I cover them with fake soil. My garden areas are coated with white glue, which I'll cover with a mix of dried tea leaves and coffee grinds. If, when dry, you find you have bare spots, you can just apply a second layer of glue and grinds until it's all covered. My friend Jess at the Crafty Goblin shared this concoction with me, and I think it gives a really great soil texture. I'm using sheet moss as turf for my garden. It's a really great way to fill out that garden space. But don't feel you have to do this. You could build neat rows of vegetables, a tidy knot garden, something as realistic or outlandish as you like. The nice thing about fairies is that anything goes, and it's okay to be silly, nonsensical, or disproportionate in your gardening. Build something that appeals to you. I'm building up the corner areas with a bit of greenery here. Take a look in your local discount store for faux flowers and plants, keeping an eye out for anything that can be disassembled and pulled apart so that you can use the smaller pieces. Now for some tiny paper flowers. a little ring of handmade toadstools. I used hot glue to put them in place, but a drop of instant glue will stiffen the moss and make sure that they stay put. Then, fence posts. Here, I'm covering the sides of the base with some bark. I know you can't see it very well, but I promise you're not missing anything too exciting. Now to finish off that fence. I've just used snippets of twigs and a tiny dab of hot glue to hold them in place. A few more flowers and some mossy accents to hide any obvious edges and give a bit of age. After a good night's sleep, it's back to miniature landscaping. A twiggy tree is planted. More flowers and moss. A tiny birdhouse added. A little chipboard arbor is put into place. And my fairies have a green place to frolic indoors. Check the description for project links and where you can find me online. Thank you for watching.